In this video, I'll be giving an overview of the reference finder for Onshape extension, how to install it, how to use it, some common pitfalls, and other information. So to start, you can go to referencefinder.net. That's going to have your home base for information about the application, some quick tips for how to get started with it, how to submit feedback and help documentation, as well as terms and conditions and the privacy policy. So to actually get the application in Onshape, you can go to Get for Free, this button right here at the top of the page. This will take you to the Onshape App Store. What you'll see here is a free subscribe button and some more information about the app. So what we can do here also is if you want to find it through the App Store itself, you can go to All Apps, Utilities, and then navigate to Reference Finder. Here you can click subscribe and you'll be prompted to get it for free. So I'll go ahead and I'll get it for free. And now I'm subscribed. Awesome. So how do I actually use it? To use it, I'm going to go to the Onshape documents page. So that's going to be, you can click the Onshape button over here to get back to Onshape. And what you can do then is you can select a document and activate Reference Finder. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll select this ROV22 document, and I'll click Reference Finder over here. Now I'll expand this a bit so it's easier to see. What it's saying is Google Apps Script is asking for you to authorize the application with your Google account. Reference Finder is built using Google Apps Script, which is one of Google's cloud-based app development platforms. It's used for hosting and deploying the application, as well as accessing the user's Google account so that results from Drive can be found. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and I'll click Review Permissions. Oh, the pop-up came up on the other screen. And I'm going to choose my Google account to continue. Now, what we need here is we need to grant access to making external requests. So that's so that I can talk with Trello, Slack, Jira, Confluence, etc., and information about our Google Drive files. So that means metadata. So for example, title. It won't be able to see the contents of your files, it'll just be able to search for files and display which ones contain references. So I'll go ahead and I'll click Allow. And this will wait for authorization, and now it's loading the application. So I had previously authorized some accounts here, so I'll go ahead and I'll disconnect all of these. And I'll show you the connect process for all of them. So one thing you'll notice is that Google Drive is already connected because we authorized it through that pop-up. So what it's doing over here is it's finding references in Google Drive where someone has referenced this document. If I go ahead and click on a reference, we'll see that we have a link over here, and the reason why it found it is because the document ID of this document, this Onshape document, is present in the document over here in the link. Note that there's a limitation in Google Drive where if you were to select some text and then add a link here to the Onshape document, it won't find it then, because the search functionality in the Drive API does not find results where it's in the link. It needs to have it in the text itself. So I'll go ahead and I'll navigate back to Reference Finder over here. And one other useful thing for the headers of the section is that there's a little Open a New Tab button. So I can click this little Open a New Tab thing, and it'll launch the same search that it's doing with the API, except in the full UI of the application you're using. So it'll give you richer previews, it'll give you more space to see results. It's great if you have a ton of results and you need to quickly find one, and there isn't enough space to find it here. So next, let's go ahead and connect to Jira. So I'll click the Connect button, and it'll ask me to authorize with my Atlassian account. So it's going to ask for permissions to read Jira project and issue data, search for issues, and find attachments and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and I'll click Accept. And once this is accepted, it'll say successfully connected with Jira, and we can return to the application over here. So we'll see that since we authorized the application, Jira is now loaded, and we can see some issues here. So look at what's the key for the issue, what's the status, when was it updated, etc. It's sorted by most recent first. So I'll go ahead and I'll click on this reference and I'll open it up in Jira. One thing to note is that the Jira and Confluence APIs are limited. They will not find links. You need to explicitly put the document ID in here. So in the description. It's a bit unfortunate that this is necessary, but it still is a way to associate the Jira or Confluence page or document or ticket with what you're working on. For that reason, there's this document ID provided up here for convenience, so you don't have to need to hunt for the URL or anything like that. You can just double click it, copy it, make some sort of Jira ticket. Over here I could put in the summary some issue, and I could put down as the description, something needs to be fixed. And I can put the document ID here for correlation. Okay, sweet. So if I go ahead and create that, It'll take a bit of time for Jira to index it possibly, or it might happen quickly, I don't know. Oh, and it's already appeared here. So you can click the refresh button over here to pull in the latest results. So for example, if I added something to Confluence or Jira or Google Drive, but it's not showing up yet, I can click refresh here in order to get that info. Or alternatively, I can also click the refresh all button at the top, and this will be like clicking refresh for everything individually. Similarly for Confluence, I can go ahead and click connect here. It'll bring me to a similar authorization page. It says that it wants to search Confluence, and it'll be possible for the application to see some content from your Confluence pages. Okay, so I'll click accept. We go back over here. Uh-oh, that's not good. State token has expired. This can sometimes happen if you leave the application sitting open for a long time before clicking the connect button. So what we can do in that case is we can reopen the application. It'll take just a second to load, and we can click connect over here. Now in this case, when we click accept, we won't get that error. So if you do see some sort of error, the first thing to try is always to close and reopen the application sidebar. It might be that something has expired as far as authorization, like we had over here, but that's just something that can happen sometimes, and opening it again fixes it. So over here in Confluence, we can also see some results over here. So which space is it in? What's the title? Is it a document or a comment or a blog or something else? And when was it updated, as well as the page itself. So if we click on this, we'll go ahead and we'll see, oh, there's this cool page with the ROV in it. There's the link to the CAD, but that link is actually not sufficient. You do need to have the document ID by itself somewhere in the page for Confluence. Next up, we have Slack. Slack is super exciting because it'll find references absolutely anywhere. Currently, so if you do try to open the Slack one, you do need to first have an administrator in your workspace install it. So what that means is, because I'm just a user in the Onshape workspace, I can't go and install Reference Finder. However, if I were to go to the Husky Satellite Lab, where I am an administrator, then I can allow access. So what you need to do first is to have some administrator of your Slack workspace get the extension and connect it to Slack. Then you'll be able to add it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll click allow here, and it will say successfully connected with Slack. And if we return over here, we can suddenly see Slack messages. And what's really exciting about these ones is that the link that's in there, it doesn't need to be pasted plain text. You can even select text and add a link, and Slack will still find it. So you can find the message, what channel was it in, when was it sent, what day was it sent, who sent it, etc. And clicking it, of course, will bring you to the Slack application. So if I bring it over here, you can see that it's highlighted, and that was the link over here, and if we click it, it brings it back to the document. Okay, awesome. So the last one over here that I want to show is Trello. Trello is awesome. It's a Kanban system where you can manage to-do lists, projects, that sort of stuff. So here's the Reference Finder authorization page. Basically, it'll ask for access for a month. It could be extended to be longer, but for now it resets every month, so you'll need to reauthorize once a month. And it'll be able to read your content, but it will not be able to make comments or work as you, or see your email, or make changes to your boards. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll click allow here. And we're going to go back here, and it's successfully authorized with Trello. So here we have a card. We can see it's in the list doing in general to do. And the title is ROV22 test card. So if we click it, we'll open it up in Trello. And there we see the result. So in this case, there was just the document ID, but Trello will find links in any context. So if you were to click attach and paste a link to the Onshape document, or write a comment, or anything really, it'll all show up there. Note that for Trello, it can take a while to index things. I've seen it take a minute or two. I've even seen it take like 5 minutes for new results to show up. So if you add some sort of reference externally, paste that link somewhere, it's not showing up immediately, just give it 5 minutes, and that should give most of the services enough time to sort it out. Now, if you wanted to switch to a different account, so for example, say you use multiple different Slack workspaces and you want to switch which one it's finding references in, you can click disconnect. It'll be disconnected then, and you can click connect to reauthorize it. You can go through the same auth flow. In this case, I'll show what happens if you deny it. So if I were to click cancel over here, oh, in Slack it's a little bit special. It won't quite deny it, like, it won't go to the application until that it's been denied. Rather, let's say that I want to use Confluence, and I deny the connection request. So I'll go ahead and I'll go to Confluence, and I'll click cancel here instead of authorizing it. Once this button loads, and once I go back to the documents page over here, we'll see that Confluence, it's still errored out. It wasn't able to access it. Also, if you revoke access from the application itself, so for example, if you go to the Trello settings and revoke access to the application, you'll get an error there, but you can reset it by pressing disconnect and connect again. Now, if you have any other questions or comments or any feedback like that, you can always click the little help button up here to open up the help page, and you can find the contact information here, and learning resources will be posted here soon. You can also, on the home page, find a little bit more information about it. This gives you the general overview of the steps, and I encourage you to read the terms and conditions and privacy policy as well. There's nothing crazy in there, but it's just good to be aware of them. Finally, for Reference Finder, it not only works in the Documents page, but it also works from within Documents. So when you open up a document on the inside, you can go ahead and find the Reference Finder icon over here. It's a little blue and green icon over there, and it'll launch the Reference Finder application over here. So it works both inside Documents, and we've selected a document in the Documents page. Works just the same way in both cases. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope you will try out the extension. As always, I'm 100% open to feedback. You can always email me at ashmickens@ptc.com. Although in the future, once I'm not an intern, it'll probably be a different email that's posted up here. And I'm always happy to hear your comments, feedback, ideas, anything else. Most importantly, if you have a service that you want this to connect with, you can enter that service over here, submit it, and then I'll get a notification that someone wants to connect with that service. Here are currently the top priority services. Gmail is currently in the works. Other ones are also being worked on, but this list is subject to change and they aren't guarantees. Depending on how things go, sometimes it turns out a service can't be integrated with. For example, Notion is currently taken off of the list because its API does not allow finding references in this way, but I'll do my best to get it to work with whatever services you want. Just let me know about it, and based on the popularity of services, I'll add them. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Always happy to hear feedback, and I hope you try out the extension. It's just a click away at the top over here. Get for free, subscribe, authorize with your accounts, and you're ready to find references.